Right, so getting back to this Supra and its engine. So as you can see, it's right here on its engine stand at the moment, where it's been sat for quite some time. So I'm getting ready. I'm also in the process of doing the video for the clutch install, so bear with me on that one. But yes, so I need to get this engine and that gearbox sort of in a position where I can get mated together. So at the moment I can't do that because I need to get it off the stand and onto the engine crane so that I can swing them about and get them all moving around. But in order to get it from my garage, because the flooring is ridiculously uneven, outside to the car where the floor outside is even more uneven, the solid caster wheels on the engine crane are just going to not like riding along that. So I'm going to make a really quick frame using some nice rubberized caster wheels and hopefully make a little bit of a bogie to run the engine out to the car. And then once the car engine is out by the car, I can then just use the crane to lift it and drop it in. That's the theory. So one of the first things I need to do is move the gearbox out of the way so we've got nice big floor space to work with, and get some of the old bits of box section out of that corner to make up a quick frame out of. So I'm just going to do that. So I've just dug out a bit of box section there, led the gearbox down, so I know that the mounting point for the gearbox is at the back here. So long as I've got enough length, which I have, so from the front of the Bella housing here to where the engine mount is about 30 centimetres. As you can see, this is the old frame I originally built years ago to move this whole engine and gearbox assembly around the garage many years ago. So yeah. So as you can see, this is the original mounting points. So I'm going to pick up on these and get them into place on here, hopefully. So next thing I need to do is just chop this bit of tube down, so it's way too long. So I'll do the same with this one in just a sec. So yeah, angle grinders out and get this chopped up. So that's one tube done, just do the other. Yep, so that's the frame laid out on the floor. So I'm just digging welder out, but I need to move this bag first, seeing as it's full of fireworks. Because believe it or not, me and Nat, we've been there before. So anyway, let's get this all laid out properly and then we can crack on. Right, so there's a frame just quickly knocked up. I'm just going to get these casters now and weld these into place. I would normally bolt them, but I can't be bothered getting the drills and stuff out. And to be honest, I think once I've done with all this frame, it'll be going in the bin anyway. So I'm just going to get these spot welded on here and then I'll show you them when they're done. I've just had to open up the front door as well as the side door just to let it vent out in here, because I have been welding galvanised stuff there, so it's a bit nasty. So let's get the smoke out of here and I'll come back in a minute. Right, so just put the gearbox on a piece of wood on it for the time being. As you can see, the angle, it's slightly facing upwards, so obviously this end here just needs lifting slightly, but it should be fine. For it's only transport literally from here through them doors to the car that's on the driveway. The only thing I did want to make sure is I don't smash this oil pan on anything on the floor on the way out. So by judging basically the bottom of where the bell housing bolts up to there, it's only an inch or so below it. So judging by that there piece of wood on the frame, I've got a good 4 or 5 inches of clearance there, so I'm pretty much happy with where this is. So I'm just going to get some tabs welded on this back end for the gearbox support, and I'm going to get a metal bar welded across the middle there, something for the bell housing to sit on. So hopefully when the engine goes in, it's got everything there ready to sit the lot on it. So yeah, let's get on with that. Right, so I've just spun gearbox around so that I can mount the engine this way. I've still got enough space in here that I can turn it around when it needs to go into the car, but currently this is the way it needs to be, going out that way. So what I need to do is get a lot of the gubbins off of this engine. So for example, the turbo, the exhaust manifold, all of the inlet injectors, the lot, just to make this engine as narrow as possible, because the last thing I want to do is when I put it into the engine bay, scratch this on the suspension turret or scratch the suspension turret. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on with that, strip this down, make it as small as possible, and then we'll go from there. Right, it's got it stripped down as far as I'd like to take it. I've still got this that's sticking out quite a long way, but I'm pretty sure the turret goes around about here anyway, so that should be okay for the time being. The rest of it though, it's all nice and slim now, so I'm going to pull the engine forwards over here, turn it around, and I'm going to get the engine crane out and lift it, drop it down and mate it up, get the legs welded for the pickup parts here off the original engine mounts. And then once I've done that and I know everything is right, I'm going to then separate it again, and then the clutch, which is underneath here, which I'm currently in the process of doing another video for, it's going to be sorted out in that video, so you can see the process of how to fit the uni clutch to this engine and gearbox setup. So yeah, so we're getting there, so let's get this sorted out. And there we have it, first time in a long time this thing has been out of the engine stand, so it's now free floating right there. So what I'm going to do now is just push this trolley underneath the crane and lower it down. Unfortunately, my measurements when I was making this trolley, I completely forgot about the width of the legs, so with these stupid welded on bits of metal at the front there, it's currently sitting at just over 63 centimeters, so I can only push it in to about there, which isn't ideal, but hopefully it'll still give me enough space that I can drop the engine down into this frame and get some legs welded onto these parts of the mounts in order to secure it to the frame. So I'm going to do that now. So there we go, that's the engine bolted back up to the gearbox. I've only put 2 bolts in it for now just to locate it, but yeah, it's currently just sat on these bits of angle iron that I've slotted out for the engine mounts. So I'm just going to take a bit of load back up on the crane now, back these off slightly, and then move them to the edge and get them welded into place, and then we are pretty much ready to rock and roll. Oh, so there we go, we've welded up those tabs now onto the frame, so they're solid. So the engine is now bolted to this little bogie, which is quite cool. I could just stick some wheels on the back here and make a little drift cart. How cool would that be? 2JZ drift cart. Anyway, so now that I've got that mounted to this little trolley, I know it's pretty much in the right position as to where I need things. So I'm just going to go ahead and unbolt everything again now, and hopefully we can get a proper look into how this engine and the gearbox goes together with regards to the uni clutch. So I'm going to leave that video there for now, and hopefully in the next one there should be some progress with regards to getting the uni clutch in, so a little bit more exciting. And then after that it's going to be a case of getting this into the car, so I'm getting kind of excited now. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.